Let's move on to the last spot on Bebsy's card. I'm so excited about this show. I'm only going to be doing the intros for the games once because we're going to be talking about the games multiple times with multiple cappers, and we have Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, on deck, ready to come in. Let's break down the last game on Bebsy's card for AFC Wildcard. He's coming off a 4-0 sweep of sides on Week 18, and it is the Pittsburgh Steelers at Kansas City Chiefs. Steelers at Chiefs to shut down Bebsy's wild card. Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. The Steelers 9-7, 1, 3-5 on the road. Chiefs 12-5, 7-2 at home. We're at 30 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Chiefs opening up as 13.5-point favorites, and they are now at 13. And actually, I have them opening up at 13. I'm going to move my I think I switched my opener to Bet365. I'll move that over for the next for Clint for sure. Then this total opened up at 46.5. There still are 46.5s out there, but there's also 46s. When we go to the cash flow in this spot, we have 12,912 tickets in. 48% of the tickets are on the Steelers. 61% of the cash is on the Steelers. 13-point dogs. Then from a total perspective, 66% of the tickets are on the over, but just 29% of the cash. Big bets coming in on the under. These teams met in Week 16 in Kansas City. The Chiefs dominated 36-10. That was without rookie linebacker Nick Bolton and all-pro tight end Travis Kelce. The Steelers coming off their second straight win, 16-13 at the Ravens, give Big Ben at least one more game in his storied career. Pittsburgh scored 16 points in an overtime game against the Ravens, who had given up the most passing yards in the entire league. Ben was 30-44 for 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 57th career game-winning drive, including playoffs, that passes Peyton Manning and Drew Brees for the second most in Super Bowl era. 165 career quarterback wins. Only Tom Brady has more with a single team in NFL history. 160-plus pass yards for the first time in his last 4 games. He's not looked good, but he's had a great year. A great career. He's never had a losing season in his 18-year career. That's the most seasons without being on a losing team in NFL history. Freiermuth caught 6 passes for 53 yards. With 497 yards this year, he passed Heath Miller in 2005 for the most receiving yards among tight ends. He's been excellent. Deontay Johnson caught 7 passes for 51 yards, 5+ receptions in 12 straight games. Those of you playing the player prop market, 5+ receptions in 12 straight games. That's the 3rd longest Pitt streak since 1950. They struggled to move the ball on the ground. Najee Harris, 11 carries for 28 yards. He did become the first rookie in NFL history with 300+ carries and 70+ receptions. TJ Watt tied Strahan's single-season record at 22.5 sacks. He was also credited with a forced fumble earlier. The Steelers are 8-0-1 when allowing fewer than 24 points this season. They're 1-7 when they allow more than 24. Can they possibly keep the Chiefs to 24 or under, or 23 or under? Going into Week 18, they were 21st in scoring and 22nd in points allowed. Linebacker Buddy Johnson placed on IR, ending his season. Wide receiver James Washington still is on the COVID list. Hasn't come off the COVID list yet. The Chiefs closed their season with 2 very underwhelming road games, losing 34-31 at the Bengals, then winning 28-24 at the Broncos. I wish I had listened to Dennis Garcia when he broke down that game last week in our chat, and it cost me money. He broke it down beautifully. They were down 14-10 at the break. They desperately needed that Nick Bolton fumble return to lead them to victory. Mahomes, 27-44, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Mecole Hardman led the way with 8 receptions for 103 yards. Travis Kelce caught 4 passes for 34 yards and a touchdown. 3+ receptions in 62 straight games. 5th longest streak in the NFL since 1950. First tight end in NFL history with 9,000+ receiving yards in his first 10 seasons. There's been times where he's looked slower or beat up this year, and then he stepped up and gone for 190 receiving yards. They continue to struggle on the ground without Edwards-Helaire. He's expected to return for this, but he is dealing with a shoulder injury, and that's tough when you're a running back. Mahomes led the way with 54 yards on 9 carries. Their defense couldn't put pressure on Drew Lock. 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. They're the 5th team in NFL history with 12+ games, winning 12+ games in at least 4 straight seasons. Over the final 5 games of the year, the Chiefs averaged 35.4 points per game. Pittsburgh averaged 19.8. Pittsburgh had just 1 game all year with 30 points. Lucas Nang done for the season, but the Chiefs are expecting to get offensive tackle Mike Remmers, cornerback Chris Lamons, and defensive tackle Kalen Saunders back at some point soon. Will it be this week? We shall see. Bebsy, your last game on your wild card docket. Steelers Chiefs, take it away.
This almost seems unfair to Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's got to know. Well, he knows he's done. And I think the Steelers probably deep down inside know that they're not a very good football team, especially with Ben at the helm. They're actually a pretty good football team. They just have Ben Roethlisberger. Slatsy said it beautifully when he said he's got to watch him throw another 3-yard pass. Ben can't throw the ball anymore. And for his career to end beating the Baltimore Ravens, he probably could have taken some solace in that. Instead, the Colts choke hard, lose to the worst team in football, and he has to come out and play another week. And even in the presser, he was talking so much respect for the Ravens, and it was Big Ben's early retirement speech. He is now facing a Kansas City team that he simply cannot keep pace with. And as great as this Pittsburgh Steelers defense is, and they are very good. And if Watt doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, that's just a travesty. He's incredible. He's all over the place. They are going to get absolutely murdered by the Chiefs this weekend. The magic is done. That celebration in the locker room went viral with Tomlin dancing. I like Mike Tomlin, but how many times have we seen him show up for a playoff game without a game plan for the team he's facing? And the talent of the team ends up winning this game. Well, he's coming up against a much better team. They're not going to be prepared. Ben is done. This isn't going to be a game. This is going to be a burial. And this is, sadly for Big Ben, how his career is going to go out. Should have ended on him beating the Baltimore Ravens. Instead, it's going to end a week later by him getting absolutely destroyed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
So Chiefs minus 13 is what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Well, we can beat that. We can beat that easily. Circa's moved it to 11.5. A bunch of other books have been. I'm going to get Pinnacle live here and make sure that these aren't stale lines that I've been quoting. Let's move over here, NFL. So, wow. Amazing. Amazing that the Circa would be 1.5 off of what Pinnacle is live right now. It's a very dangerous thing for a book to be doing. Now, the minus 13 is at minus 100. Out of curiosity, if you had to pay for it at Pinnacle, let's just see what it would be. It would be for the 11.5, minus 114. Okay, so there's not a big difference there. Okay. All right. So
yeah, Turnsy's mentioning that interview again. I like I said, that interview, Ben's checked out. Like his career's over. He knows it, and he's not. He's just talking about what an honor it was to play Baltimore. He's done. He's done. He can't throw the ball.
All right, let's lock you in. Ron Crawford wants it as well with a spreadsheet play of the day. That's minus 11.5 at minus 109. You could get the minus 11 at minus 120. It is a key number. I guess it's a key number 11. But are you going to take the minus 11.5, minus 109?
Yeah, I'll take the 11.5. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be much more.
For Bebsy and for Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day in business. Bebsy, thank you so much. And a big shout out to Ron Crawford as well. Those of you who watch Betting with the Bag know what an integral part he is of everything that we do on my show as well. So big shout out to Ron Crawford. Next for you is the Sunday Nighter. Steelers at Chiefs. And everybody, Clint, I'm such a big fan of your capping. I get so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear this breakdown. Take it away.
Jimmy, you've had to have seen Jurassic Park, right?
Of course. The original?
The OG.
Of course, I love it.
He got the cigarette sticking out of his mouth and he goes, "Hold on to your butts," before he flips the switch. That's how I approach my handicapping, baby. Give me the Steelers, Jimmy. I am buying into the magic. Let's be completely honest. The Steelers were never supposed to be in this position. They were never supposed to have a shot at these playoffs. And I know Bebsy was talking about how Big Ben has phoned it in. Big Ben is completely done. He's given up on the season. He knows it's over. And I kind of thought that too, Jimmy. And I bet the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't care how unlikely or how strange or crazy it was that the Steelers beat the Ravens, but they did. You're not coming back and beating a team like the Ravens when you're completely checked out on your season like that, unless you've got a little bit of a spark left. Big Ben is not the only person on this team. Big Ben has got a bunch of young, athletic, explosive kids that are now underneath him and looking for a leader. You don't think in the next week they're going to talk to him about, come on, Ben, get me there, buddy. Get me one. Get me a playoff victory. Let's get this thing going. I believe, Jimmy, I have said on my own show that there's no such thing as a happy ending in the sport of mixed martial arts. You don't see legends go out there and ride off into the sunset, but in team sports, it happens. The rest of the team rallies around that legend and they pick them up, Jimmy. I am buying on Big Ben and these Steelers. And on top of that, I am just flat out not sold on these Kansas City Chiefs, Jimmy. They also, similar to Tom Brady, have been having some problems. A lot of their games have been exceptionally tight. I mean, you want to talk about them getting by the New York Giants by just 3 points. You want to go back to the game with the Cincinnati Bengals where that defense looks like a sieve. They gave up basically everything. These young Steelers remember that game, Jimmy, the 36-10 beatdown. They know if there's one game they want to play spoiler in, it's this one. I think it's too many points, Jimmy. Give me the 13. And like I said before, this is a contest. I want to win. So give me that money line, plus 550.
Plus 550. Plus 550 money line, resting comfortably on Clint's enormous ball sack. The Steelers money line at plus 550. The final spot here for Big Ragu's wild card docket is Steelers Chiefs. Steelers Chiefs, the Sunday nighter, big game. Could be Ben's last game, likely Ben's last game. How you betting this one, Ragu?
Yeah, it's a one-way action for me on this game. Last week, when that game was over, first we thought the swan song was, when he got that Monday nighter at home, that was a perfect setting for him to make his exit right off into the sunset and, go have a nice retirement somewhere. Then there came week 18, which was like a crazy week. Some great football week 18. For the last week of the season, a lot of crazy stuff happened. It was some marvelous football being played at the same time, which was I was pleasantly surprised with that, especially that West Coast game late. That was crazy. But anyways, Ben got involved in a scenario where he got a reprieve and he got to get in the playoffs, right? Luckily for him. But his worst nightmare is he's got to go play the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, the Steelers have had some moderate success versus the Chiefs over the years, but if you go flip back to that last game, there was nothing to write home about for the Steelers. Now, granted, they're probably gonna lean real hard on Harris here and Watt on the defensive side to kind of try to hold things down for these guys. And I know that Kansas City, they're getting healthier. It's been a season of two seasons for them. The first half not so good, like 3-4 on the start, and they've been rolling coming into the playoffs. They had that 1 week where they had the COVID. A lot of players were out with COVID, like Kelsey and Cheetah was out. I mean, now they're kind of getting a lot better. They're getting healthier. They're trying to get back to the spot they were last year. And I know it's a big number. I know it's a big number, but I did very well with Kansas City in a similar spot a couple weeks back, before the COVID issue. I took Kansas City in the first half. I took them in the full game, and I took them on a team total. Well, Kansas City, you treated me so nicely that week. I'm going to come back with those same 3 spots. I'm going to take Kansas City in the first half. I'm going to take Kansas City over the team total, and I'm going to take Kansas City in the first full game.
Well, let's lock you in. You're going to have some options here. So let's see what we have. So we'll start here. And I say that just because Pinnacle, buying and selling points, they give you a really nice number here.
Yeah, this is going to be an all down. Listen, this is going to be a name your score. Go bet it now. I don't care if I know 2 of the games for a fact. I know sharp money's coming in on the Philadelphia side. And you say it's kind of chalky playing the Bucks at home, whatever, but not so much. If you're going against the Sharps, then you're going a little contrarian there. Same thing here. I know there's Steeler money coming in. and I know there's some bets on the Steelers. So I think longer term, there's going to be public's going to be coming in back in the Chiefs later, closer to the game time. But a lot of sharp money's coming in right now on the Steelers, and I understand it, but I don't understand it in my brain.
Well, you have so first off, we can get you that first half minus 7.5 and minus 105 at Pinnacle, but you have options here for the full game. You can have the 11.5 at minus 109. That's available right now at Circa, and then it goes up at Pinnacle. You can get the 12.5 minus 106. You can get the, I guess that's the best number here for the Chiefs.
Yeah, the 11.5 at 109. That sounds good.
Okay, Chiefs full game minus.
I'm not going to worry about 3 cents. $3 on, for when it might. I doubt it ends on 12. Listen, the final. I'm going to give you the final score of this game. It's going to be Kansas City either 31-34, and Pittsburgh winds up with 16 or 17 points. That's it. Game over. I was thinking about the over, but I'm worried about Pittsburgh getting enough points to put it over. So I'm not going to rely on Pittsburgh's action to get
it was the first thing.
So I figured let's roll with the team total on Kansas City and double up on the first half full game. I
can get you 20. It's 29.5 at minus 108 at Pinnacle. Let's see if we can beat that here. It's 29 at Circa, so there's beating it. And let's just check one last spot here over 29.
Circa's got some good numbers.
Seems like good book. It's good. They do have some limits, but it's a good book. Yeah, that's the best one for sure because it's 30.5 over at Bet365. They always screw you.
Yeah, no, that's too much.
All
Even though I think it went between 31 and 34 points.